a lead, sometimes a discussion meeting, but tonight it will be a lead meeting. So this afternoon, I reached out to some people to get a lead for tonight, which is kind of late notice. And I had a taker for this, who I greatly appreciate because I do realize it was late notice. And I get to hear her when I get a chance to go over to Portland meetings, and when she shares, I listen because she always has a wonderful share. And I consider this lady a very good friend and somebody I could call at any time, day or night, and she would pick up that phone and be there for me. So with that, I give you my friend Kathy.
No, I'll get too distracted. It's going to be hard enough anyway. For all you youngsters out, I'm Kathy, I'm an alcoholic. For all you youngsters out there, somebody listen, because every once in a while I lose my train of thought and speech, so you could tell me where I left off. Anyway, I always thought my story was kind of boring, but I've given leads and people liked them, and nobody told me if they didn't like them, which that was nice too. When you were talking about prizes here a while back, my grandson, he turned 18, he lives in Vegas. He was 17, and at the bank they had this contest, and there was a toolbox, and there was a jug of Jack Daniels, and there was something else. And so I put my tickets in, and they called me, and I went back there, and I got the toolbox for him, and I got the Jack Daniels for me. So, man, I gave it right away to my cousin, because whiskey was my choice of drug. Anyway, I can remember when I was young stealing beer from my parties, from my parents' parties and things like that. And when I was 16, I'd get a fake ID and come to Ohio and drink, usually at that little, in Union City on the corner. It's kind of a dump now. And I even went to Longtown. That was really an experience. But anyway, I did an alcoholic drink for a long time. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom they had divorced, they'd remarried, and then they divorced those people and then got back together. And when I was 16 and they got back together, I had such a resentment about my dad's drinking that all I could do was get me out of this house. And I started hunting, for my husband.
Yeah.
And I got him. And we had 2 little girls. We divorced, and he didn't come see him very often, so my mom and dad, my 3 brothers, and an aunt and uncle moved to Vegas. So I, in turn, moved to Vegas. And actually, he saw more a month in the summer than he did like all year round, which is great. Didn't drink through any of that, didn't drink the first few years in Vegas. And I just, all of a sudden, it was like my work got harder. The kids got a little older, they didn't need me quite so much, and so I'd have a drink after work every night. And like the big book says, man, pretty soon I was off and running, and I was into alcoholic drinking fast. When they come back in the summer, I'd have a refrigerator full of booze and no food. It was always like a party when they were gone. But when they were home, I tried to do it. I tried to hide it. Now, you can't hide. When you're a home drinker, you cannot hide your stuff. I had whiskey in the bathroom hid. The plastic or the pour spout, I would take a knife and I would flip it off, because you can't get a good drink with that little spout in that bottle, And man, I was a full-blown alcoholic, and I didn't know it. I knew my dad was an alcoholic, but I didn't know I was. There was an instant where the girls had went to school and went down to a friend's house, and of course, when I drink, I don't know if it's morning, afternoon, nighttime, I black out, and I start blacking out right away. And they couldn't get in the house because I had it all locked up. And it was quite traumatic. You know, I tried to be this good mom. Being a mom was the most important for a while, and then afterwards alcohol took over, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had lots of the isms. I had lots of the isms before I even started drinking, actually, and so that's what the steps and the inventory and Al-Anon has helped me with, actually. Uh, my dad, I had no idea he went to AA because it was such a family secret. And so he took me to my first AA meeting. And I said I was an alcoholic because everybody else did. I was hoping on the way over there I could still smoke because I could smoke up a storm. You know, if I couldn't drink, I got to have my things. Got to have them. So I smoked through the whole meeting, and I heard people say they were an alcoholic. I identified as an alcoholic, and I started going to meetings. I knew I needed a sponsor, so this woman talked about God. And when I grew up, my God was, my mom said that she got punished when us kids screwed up because of all the bad stuff she had done. So that was my kind of God that I knew. And she talked about God and her higher power, and that drew me to her, you know. So now she was a tall, long-legged, red-headed Keno runner. And I was a LPN, a nurse, and I was short and I was dumpy, you know. And she'd pick me up for meetings sometimes and drop me off in front of the house, and she'd get out and give me a big hug. And I'd just be so embarrassed what if the neighbors happened to see that, you know? And the thing of it is, I'd had so much riffraff coming into my house, you know. One girl like that's not going to upset anybody. Anyway, my experience, a lot of drinking. I never got a DUI. Never went to jail, a lot of nevers, and those could be yets for me, actually. And so I got to thinking, maybe a month into it, and I asked my sponsor, I told her, I said, I don't think I'm an alcoholic. I think I diagnosed myself wrong. And she said, honey, the stories you told me, I know you're an alcoholic. So, I kept going, and I found her God, and I borrowed him, her higher power, and I borrowed him. And I went to 90 meetings in 90 days, and I did the 4-step inventory. I did everything that's suggested in the steps. When I was a year sober, you can have a relationship in a year. So I hunted out and got a guy that was 1 year sober. And it was tragic. It was just tragic, It was so bad. I wasn't ready. I wasn't near ready. So doing the steps, getting a sponsor, going to meetings, admitting that I wasn't ready, had a lot of isms left over. I got into recovery. Some of the good things that I did in recovery or that happened to me was I got to go back and finish school and become a registered nurse. I got to drive over to Laughlin, Nevada and hear Joe and Charlie when they spoke and taught about the Big Book. I took a week and went to Maui after my kids were out of school, and that was really neat. I did it all by myself, but before I went, I looked up a AA meeting, and they had a Lana Club right down the road from where I was staying that I could walk to. So recovery was great. My drinking is boring, I think. I ended up being a home drinker. I flunked bar drinking early on, and it was just better to stay home. The drugs, I'd do some drugs, when I'd have a guy that came around before recovery. And I tried to buy Coke a couple of times, and I got ripped off. So I thought alcohol's cheaper and I won't get ripped off because I'll be the one buying it. But I got to do all those good things and experience those good things. And my girls started, their moods changed with me. And they saw that I was not just talking and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but acting different. And they very much encouraged me to go to AA. And my youngest daughter went to Alateen for a while even. So I had a wonderful recovery going on. And I lived in Vegas. I'd fly back here for vacation. I'd go to the little church meeting at Winchester. And I just got real involved, even back here for a short little time when I was on vacation. So my mom was terminally ill. And I decided I got to get back there and take care of her. Because, you know, you only have one mom. And I moved back. And my co-workers, they were just so sad. I had sponsored 5 girls. I had 5 girls at the time, and that was another great thing in recovery. And I had to tell them, and I had to help them find other sponsors. So I moved back, and I started going to meetings again. My mom died, and even the little group in Winchester sent some flowers, a flower planter, when she died. And I thought, this is wonderful. It was a smaller group, but I was used to great big groups, like 40 people and 50 people. So I was really connected when I got back. And that's not the end of the story, because I got to 26 years. But those last at least 5 years, I got a sponsor, but she had died, and I didn't bother looking for one. I quit my communication with my higher power. My attitude, I noticed I was just getting really grumpy, and everything bothered me again, and these stupid people and these assholes and everybody out there, you know, and I drank. What I did was, and part of this I don't remember at all, and in 3 days I had drank 3 of the big whiskeys straight from the bottle. And when my daughter found me, I was on the bottom of the stairs with a great big goose egg and a great big bruise on my back. And so I had to go to the emergency room, and she asked me beforehand where all the booze bottles were. So I had them in different places, of course, like I used to do. My drunk was so much worse than the first time. What people tell you, it is so much worse, because when we stop our drunk, if we drink again, we just pick up where we left off, or even worse. Yeah. So I went to the hospital, and my daughter and grandson that live in Vegas, why, they come back every summer for 2 weeks, and they were getting ready to come back on that Friday, and this was Tuesday night she found me. No, it was Thursday night she found me. And so I went to the emergency room, and they were due to be picked up at the airport Friday. And there's no way I could even rode down there, because I was puking and I was seeing things. And I did that the first time. Everything in my house was yellow when I tried to, and I did it white knuckle. I detoxed at home myself. And that was real scary, and when I think about it now, because I had bad shakes, and I started seeing, and I started just, like they say, you know, with the detox. So anyway, they treated me all night. They pumped in a lot of stuff in the emergency room. And she, in the meantime, I was just about ready to get released. They wanted me to go to rehab. Of course, I couldn't go to rehab because my kids were coming back, you know. And my grandson never saw me drunk. So I went home while she was in Indy picking up the kids. Now those kids, this is a miracle, and this is a miracle of Alcoholics Anonymous, because they had heard so much of the program and heard me talk, and talk about my higher power and everything. And then Amy, going to Alateen, picked a lot up. They decided on the way home which meetings they were taking me to all those next days while they were here. And so I'll tell you, Saturday morning they drove me to Portland. Oh my gosh, I could hardly sit in my seat. I was really sick. I couldn't act sick at home because I didn't want my grandson to know that I was an alcoholic. And then they drove me here Sunday night, Saturday in Portland, here Sunday night, and on and on and on the whole time they were here. And I went to 90 meetings in 90 days, faithfully again. And I looked for a sponsor right away because the sponsor's the one that really saved my ass last time, along with my higher power, you know. So I asked a woman in Portland, and she said yes. And then a time later, she said, you know, you were the hospice nurse that took care of my mom. I've met you before. And that was when I was like in the craziness, you know, getting ready to drink again. And it's weird because that's the way I think my higher power works. Her mom was dying, and she'd had a resentment against her mom, and I know she shares this and wouldn't mind me sharing it. And she said something derogatory, you know, to me about her mom. And I said, you know, you only have one mom, and we can't have those resentments. We can't carry those resentments. And she remembered that. And I wasn't on the meetings at that time, so something was up there that I still remembered. So I went to meetings in 90 days. I've continued to go to meetings. I'm in service work in 2 groups. I sponsor. What else, guys? Anyway, I work the program now. And I really work the program, and I know how deadly it would be for me to drink. I can't say I would die because, you know, we don't know. We don't know. I've heard people share that they'll die and they won't come back. But we don't know what will happen. My fear would be maybe that I didn't die because it was so bad. It was so bad. So I met a lot of neat people. Joni, Jim, Kevin, and I met Dawn, and a lot of special people that have helped me. And I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful for all the people that have carried the message. And, you know, I thought back about the times I didn't go to meetings and how I couldn't give that away to somebody else. And that's another thing that tells you that you're probably going to get drunk again if you don't get involved and give it away and help newcomers. And so I'm grateful I'm here tonight. I talk kind of fast, but oh well. You can have a discussion after that. I didn't want to go into a long drunk-a-log because it wasn't real exciting, you know. I'd get kicked out of bars if I tried to bar drink and whatever, so I drank at home. Anyway, thanks for having me here.
Thanks so much, Kathy. My yets. I have so many yets. But, you know, I stick around because I get to hear lots of other stories that remind me of what those yets can look like for me. And I am convinced that those can all happen to me today. And yeah, the idea of, I ended up at the bottom of a stair steps once when I walked over to pick up, it was about this time of year, and I went over to get a jack-o'-lantern from my classroom, and I picked up that jack-o'-lantern, and of course it was a Saturday, so I might have had a few drinks. I wasn't going to work or anything, I was just picking up a jack-o'-lantern. And I stood up at the top of those steps, and before I knew it, I was at the bottom. And my head hit the bottom of that last step, and I had a knot, and it scared me. And, you know, I could say that, oh, drinking had nothing to do with that, but I am sure that it did. And, so I don't know. I'm glad and I'm blessed that that's not the way I live my life today. And I agree so much with the part about I wholeheartedly know that if I don't give back what was so graciously given to me freely by other people, that I too am so afraid that that drink is right around the corner for me. And that's the best part of this program, is to give it back and to get to see people you love and become great friends with build their whole life back right in front of your eyes. It's just a miracle. So with that, I'm going to, we'll just go around tonight. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go around. So let's start with Jim.
Yeah, I'm Jim. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you, Kathy. Really enjoyed hearing you. I drank after 10 years of sobriety, and after 5 years of sobriety, and then after 4 years of sobriety, before I finally decided to immerse myself. And it took me 20 years to get it, to know that I needed to do all of it, take all of the programs. And yeah, I mean, it's never too late to go back out. It's always there waiting for us. I thought, when I was in treatment the very first time, there was a guy that had a tattoo, and I knew he belonged there because he had wrecked a train. That's the DUI there. He had a tattoo on his back of a monkey asleep up against a palm tree. And it's there to remind him that it's always there waiting, and it is. And I just found it out, and when I learned it, then I had to go learn it the hard way over the next 20 years. So thanks for sharing your story. I appreciate it. I get it. Thanks.
I'm Kathy, I'm an alcoholic, and I am 2 years sober now.
I got 2 years off it, and I was in the program for about 6 years, 7 years. I decided to go back out, and that about killed me. And just what we do, I fell a couple times, and broke my glasses, hurt my arm, and my mom was really getting frustrated. And so I went to recovery again, and been here since. So thank you for your support. Thanks.
Thanks, Jill. Steve, alcoholic. Steve. Thanks, Kathy. I picked up on a few things that you said. One that kind of stood out to me the most was you feared dying an alcoholic. Not dying, exactly. And I agree with that 100%. That's a fear of mine as well. Another fear of mine is relapse, and that happened to me as well. And I can look back on it and learn from it, because I know what I did. I know what I did wrong, and I know what I need to do to not let it happen again. And you also mentioned your mom, and fortunately, I've been able to mend my relationship with my mom. She's getting older, and I certainly don't want her to die with me being drunk. And I want to enjoy these last years with her, on a good basis. We don't know how long we got with them, She might live to be 100, who knows? But the time that I do have, I want to hold on to, and I want it to be a good year. So thank you for your lead. That brought up some good thoughts in my mind.
Thanks, Steve.
I'm Kevin, I'm an alcoholic. Thanks, Kathy. I don't think I was there at your first meeting when you came, but I believe that I was there maybe that first week or so when you were back. And, and sometimes, it took me 20 years to get sober. And then when I hear people say, well, I had so many years and then I went back out and drank. And, I understand sometimes how quick that can happen. And then as soon as you start that with the good intention that I'm only going to that's so true, because I was 20 years in and out of this program and never had long periods, but I had short periods. And most definitely, when I picked up that drink after a period of sobriety, I didn't start back. I didn't start at the beginning and do that. I picked up right where I left off, and that was the way it always worked for me. Today, I really have no reason to believe that it would be any different if I was to pick up a drink today. I would drink the way I used to drink. And, I don't know, I can't say that it was easy. I don't have a problem today staying sober. I have a problem thinking sometimes, but not picking up a drink, I don't have a problem with that today. But, the other thing, just as Steve mentioned, is that probably if I picked up a drink, I would probably die. I would drink myself to death, probably pretty soon. But my fear would be that I wouldn't die and I'd have to live that way. And that is scary. You know. So thanks for a good lead, and so glad that you come over tonight. And thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Joe.
Aaron Alcoholic.
Aaron.
I want to thank you for coming in. I never heard your story, and I can relate to definitely living an alcoholic's life. It brings hope to me, that I can live without alcohol at one point in time, and especially that, eventually the people that come back into my life will be willing to accept that I am who I am, but they'll know that I'm sober. I just have to be patient. I don't know, it's just encouraging that even with a relapse at times, because I have had one or two or so, and I can still get back on track and stay sober and do the 12 steps and work the program the way you're supposed to. So it just is encouraging. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Hi, Mindy Alcoholic.
Hey, Mindy.
It gives us hope, especially us that are just fresh in recovery. I just recently had a relapse, but to see more and more people do it, it's very encouraging, and thank you for your lead.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Cindy.
Mindy. Thanks.
Wayne, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey,
Wayne.
Kathy, I want to thank you for your story. I can relate to it. Was a whiskey drinker at home. It was convenient. You only had to make it to the bottom to the couch. But to the party, that's right. You're risking a DUI, but yeah, you said you could take a knife and pop the top off. I don't know who invented that. They obviously weren't an alcoholic. It slowed down the flow. Yeah, after a while, you just realize that's what you have to lose if you continue that way, health-wise, possession-wise, anything, and you just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's time to throw in the towel. I want to thank you for your story. Thank you.
Thanks,
Wayne.
I'm Travis, I'm alcoholic.
Travis.
Thank you for your lead. I myself was also at-home closet drinker. Always have been, really, and definitely relate to that.
Travis.
Thanks, Travis.
My name's Tom, I'm an alcoholic. Thanks for sharing. I really like that lead. If I went back out, it would be like I never stopped drinking because my disease kept growing, keeps growing. And it would just be when I do a 4-step, I think about all the things I hadn't done yet. If I drink, I'll do them. And I'm really glad you shared. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm Katie, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Katie.
It's the second time I've heard your lead, and I just could so relate each time. And I think it's wonderful that you're still here and hanging around to share your new season and your story. I like to think about the ladies that you were sponsoring in Vegas. They got a different version of your story. That was a different season in your life, and I just think that as you were telling your story, I thought, man, what if you hadn't gone back? And what if, you weren't here to kind of share your story? What a waste of a perfect miracle. And I think about that sometimes when we get busy in life, or whatever, maybe it's been a week and I haven't been to a meeting. Sometimes I feel settled and okay still, but I don't ever want to get into a habit or a routine where that's not paramount for me, because I wasn't just given this life to enjoy it for myself. It's wonderful and I want to, and I'm glad to be able to, but I think that it's really important. It's surely important for me to hear stories like yours and other people, and to be able to relate and to feel like I'm not alone, and to also be able to, like Kevin shared, like heed that warning. It's still out there for me, and it doesn't matter how far down the road I go, I'm still as close to the ditch as I always was. And so, to hear a story like that, but then to see also like the way that, higher power works collectively, like that we can live through that madness and come back, and it just be another really valuable part of your story, I think is super cool too. And I feel the same way I did the first time I heard you. We have a family member that just so much I hear her story, and I so wish that she would be able to share some things that I hear you share, but she's lost right now, and I don't know that she'll ever make it here. I really hope so. So, if you would just maybe remember her in your prayers when you talk to your higher power. Because, and I need to remember too, like your story encouraged me, I need to remember that it's not impossible. Like that little lady that's fallen down and breaking things and seeing things and denying that it's alcohol and just all those terrible things that you see people suffer with in alcoholism. Sometimes I get to feeling like it's a pretty hopeless case. Maybe people felt like that about me too. And just, I think that it's so important for me anyway to hear stories like yours, to remember it's not. Like, we don't get to say who's a hopeless case or get discouraged or whatever. It's just my job to keep coming back and to work the program. And it made me think too about, like our family members. We've got kids and older family parents and, a lot of people that we care about that need this program. And we talk a lot about how that probably isn't going to be somebody that I influence into recovery. And so if I take care of God's kids, He'll take care of mine. And I try to remember that too. Like, that there are people like you that have a story to share that's going to touch that person's life. And that gives me hope. And I'm glad that you're here. So, thanks.
Thanks, Katie.
My name's Jason, I'm an alcoholic.
Jason.
Yeah, I don't know, on the way over here, the thought came to my mind, like, how I was taught here is like, learn how to relate with people. I didn't know who to give me a lead or any of that stuff, and just the longer I've been here, the more I relate with every single story that people share, whether it's directly or indirectly with another family member of mine. But, the home drinker, I don't know, I thought that was just for responsible drinking. wanna keep me, even longer. So yeah, it's definitely a serious disease, and, kind of mimic what Katie said, is like, it was a good reminder for me that it's never over. I don't ever have this thing booked. So it makes me grateful to be here tonight and to want to be sober tonight. And it always helps me to hear another story. So thank you so much for sharing, and that's all I have.
Thanks.
Don?
Non-alcoholic.
Hey, Don.
Thanks for being a friend, Kathy. And
Thank you.
you've helped me quite a bit and stuff. And I'm just glad I found the program. It took me 35 years to finally, if it wouldn't have been for the courts, to put me in it, I would have never found it. It would have been for that. That's all I got to say to you.
Thanks, Don.
Here it is.
I'm married to a recovering alcoholic. I want to thank this person for sharing with us, and, it seems like I should know you, but I don't know if I do or not. Just thanks for sharing with us.
Thanks, Andrew. How about our phone friends?
Anybody on the phone?
I'm Sharon, recovering alcoholic. And Kathy does a great lead, and it certainly shows just how cunning, fast, and powerful this disease is. And man, you nailed that lead. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming over and doing it.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
Okay, well then, anybody else care to share?
Yeah, I'm Kevin, I'm not Paul.
Hey, Kevin.
And, I just learned something today, that a lot of these people that said that they was home drinkers, and they're the ones that never got too many OBIs, you never got caught. And all this time, I didn't have that figured out. I just now figured that out. Because I didn't like to drink at all. There wasn't nobody there. And I get a little bit to drink. I wanted to get in the vehicle and I wanted to go somewhere. And I got I've got the OBIs to prove it. That's all I got.
Thanks for that lesson, Kev.
That's an epiphany there.
I know it suggests you drink and then think you're gonna stay at home though.
Yeah.
I know you pretty well, your ass will be on the road.
Yep.
Okay. Well, anybody else? Hey, do you see a and then cycle on over here.
Exception, Kevin. I got 4 DUIs, I was a home drinker. It's weird.
All right, Kathy, bring us out.
Who's Father?
Our Father, who art in heaven,
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and power, and glory forever. Amen. Keep coming back, it works if you work it.
Yeah.
My name's Tom.
Hi, Tom. I'm Kathy.
Kathy, very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I record speakers and put them online for other people. Can I record you?
I don't care.
Good, it'll be nice.
I might know to have a real glamorous.
Oh, I think they all say, but something will come through and it'll be worth it. Yeah.
Kathy, you're still 10 minutes early. You want to grab breakfast?
My wife always says
I fluctuate 10 pounds, that's it.
Oh, that's
I'm not very well. I'm always 155, 160.
Just wait till you grow up.
Bless you.
That was the sneeze that wanted to be.
What is going on?
Not bad, how are you doing? How are you? Dale sent me
And 7 dozen yesterday. They wanted me to haul them on the skis. I told myself, I'll haul 7 on. They got me on my back. Loaded it, hooks to the.
Yeah,
Right.
it's kind of low.
And I hooked it to the back.
So how did you come, like up to Portland and then?
No, I came, see, I live in Winter,
Yeah,
so I came over in the city up the state line.
and up the state line.
Then turned on my horn.
How'd the soccer games go this weekend?
That
Actually,
was fine.
good. Tomorrow is Damien's last one, and then Tuesday is Andrew's last one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
5 to 7. Oh. Yeah. But then there's a wrestling camp that is,
Not an export.
no, so there's always something.
Yeah, there's some goodies up there.
You get yours, Steve, on token, sorry.
Yeah, I got
You sure?
Oh,
Yeah, I gave the guy who's helping out, gave it back to me.
oh,
I said, okay.
Smooth, man.
Yeah, he brought it back to me.
It was good.
I'm Kathy. Nice to meet you. Okay. I kind of like.
They're from St. Henry Bakery. That's where the-
St. Henry Bakery?
Yeah,
Yeah, they have good donuts.
Yeah.
I got stuck with 7 dozen of them.
How many dozens?
7 dozen.
Oh my gosh. You like you made it here, I'd just be like wallowing in that stuff.
I ain't sure.
Yeah.
I kept 2.5 dozen at the house and took all the rest of them to the, Trader Days outside Fort Carrier over the weekend.
What were the orders for?
Guy called me and said, hey, we'll give you 7 dozen donuts, meet me out the dog races. I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna have a hard time bringing them, cause I'm on a scooter. He looked at me and said, no, you can haul 3 on your scooter and we'll take the rest of them.
Where's that other end?
What?
Where is that other end?
It's on the AA conference call, so nobody's called in yet, so the music's on. So as soon as someone calls into it,
Yeah, okay.
it's just like a, I don't know what you would call it.
They just call in and they're in the meeting?
So we have a number, and then there's a prompt,
Yeah.
and that's how we, they call and put the number in, and then they put the prompt in, and then they're connected.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, so, and if nobody calls in, the music will keep playing.
What's the number? What's the number?
It's on, you have a schedule?
No, not
Do you have an
really.
iPhone?
Yeah,
Hello?
Hold on.
I'm recording it, so whatever you say, it's recorded.
12, and I don't know, there's prices.
Port Recovery Group here.
Westfield.
Hi, Wes.
Good to see you.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
I need to be able to keep the taxes low.
Tom, what's your last name?
Z.
I don't think I have it yet. Hold on.
567?
Hi there, this is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
Hi, Karen. Sharon? Did she say?
How's everybody doing?
What?
Are you from Winchester?
No, I'm from Sydney.
Good.
I'm originally
Hey.
from here, Fort Recovery.
There's a lady over there in Sydney.
I don't hang out in Sydney much.
Okay, friends, hi, my name is Joni, and I am an alcoholic. Welcome to the 7 o'clock meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. This is the Fort Recovery Group.
Hi, Joni.
Hi, Jenny.
Can you please help me open this meeting with the serenity prayer? God,
God,
grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And with that, I have asked a friend to read for us the preamble.
I'm done, now,
Hey, Don.
Lady preamble, Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other. They may solve their common problems and help others recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no fees or for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, nor endorse, nor oppose any cause. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help others to alcoholics stay sober.
Thanks, Don.
Hi, Don.
And then we have how it works, switches over there.
Jill Ockendorf.
Hi, Jill.
And this is how it works. Really, how to sooner person fail and serve the order. Those who do not recover are people who cannot, will not, completely give themselves to a simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunate. They are not at all. It seems to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing the meaning which means their dishonesty. The basic lesson acts. There are those too who suffer from great emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our source is closed in a general way. What we used to be like, what happened, and what we are right now. We have decided we want what we have and are willing to do anyone to get it, then you may take certain steps. At some of these we lost. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the result was no, until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol. Cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. With you go, which starts just as a program of recovery. The call steps. 1. We admit we are powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that power greater than ourselves restores us sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and the whole in our life over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. We met God or ourselves into another human being, the exact nature of our life. 6. Entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Only asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends with them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we are wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and power to carry that out. 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a solid step, we try to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Many books used to tell me, what an order, I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we're willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we set down are God's progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we're alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. B, that probably no human power could ever relieve this hour of alcoholism, and C, that God could and would.
Thank you, Jill.
I have another friend that has the promises.
Wait on an alcoholic.
Wait.
The AA promises, 1, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. 2, we are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. 3, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. 4, we will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. 5, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. 6, that feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. 7, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. 8, self-seeking will slip away. 9, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. 10, fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. 11, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. 12, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises?
No.
Thank God. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Explain. And then my friend's gonna read the daily reflections.
Hi, Mindy Alcoholic.
Hey, Mindy.
Facing ourselves in fear says, you dare not look. How often I avoided a task in my drinking days just because it appeared so large. Is it any wonder, even if I have been sober for some time, that I will act that same way when faced with what appears to be a monumental job, such as a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself? What I discover after I have arrived at the other side, when my inventory is completed, is that the illusion was greater than the reality. The fear of facing myself kept me at a standstill, and until I became willing to put pencil to paper, I was arresting my growth based on a intangible.
Thanks, Mindy.
Thanks, Mindy. And I have a friend reading the 24-hour day book.
October 6th, my name's Erin, alcoholic.
Aaron.
AA thought for today. It is my desire to be a big shot in AA. Do I always want to be up front in the limelight? must believe in him without seeing. What we can see clearly is the change in a human being when he sincerely asks God for the strength to change. We should cling to the faith in God and his power to change our ways. Our faith in an unseen God will be rewarded by a useful and serviceable life. God will not fail to show us the way we should live when in real gratitude and true humility we turn to him. In the prayer for the day, I pray that I may believe that God can change me. I pray that I may be always willing to be changed for the better.
Amen.
Thanks.
And it's as Bill sees it time, followed by the tokens.
I'm Travis and I'm an alcoholic. As Bill sees it. It's page 130. Our problem centers in the mind. We know that as long as the alcoholic keeps away from drink, he usually reacts much like other men. We are equally positive that once he takes any alcohol, whatever, into his system, something happens in both the bodily and the mental sense, which makes it virtually impossible for him to stop. The experience of any alcoholic will abundantly confirm this. These observations would be academic and pointless if our friend never took the first drink, thereby setting the terrible cycle in motion. Therefore, the main problem of the alcoholic centers in his mind rather than in his body.
Thank you, Travis. Before Andrew starts, I'm going to start the 7th tradition basket around. Yeah.
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic. Andrew. Here at Fort Recovery, we have tokens for different lengths of sobriety. We have a beginner token. If this is your first meeting since your last drink, we can give you a 24-hour token. If anybody need a token? Then we have 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months. Anybody need anything? From there, we go 1 year to whatever year you want beyond that. There ain't none. If you haven't had a drink or drug today, just give yourself a hand.
Karen, did you get your one? Karen, did you get yours?
Yep.
Okay, and then I forgot the announcements, so I do have some of those. And I need that speaker thingy. Thanks, buddy. Okay. So, announcements. We have the Friends of Bob and Dorothy AA meeting, LGBTQ and Allies Living Sober open discussion meeting. And that is on Monday at 7 p.m. It started Monday, 7 p.m., Labor Day. And it's in Greenville, Ohio on State Route 495395. So that's it. And then we have the quarter 43rd anniversary Sunday, October 13th, 2024, Holy Trinity Church in Coldwater, Ohio. Doors will open at 1. Bring a friend in a covered dish. Eat, and they're providing the chicken at 1:30. And then there's 2 leads, 2:30. AA is Ansonia, lead by, or Leo K, who's in Ansonia. And the Al-Anon is Lori S from Hartford City. And then we have, yeah guys, For Recovery Second Annual Fall Festival is this, we're coming Sunday on October 27th, not this one, way down the road. AA and Al-Anon members and their family and friends are more than welcome. It's at this place right here, and it will start at 4:30. You can eat at any time. We'll have an Al-Anon lead at 7, and we'll have an AA lead at 7:30. We're going to provide some soup, water, and coffee. Please bring a covered dish. Costumes are welcome, not mandatory. There will be prizes, scariest, funniest, most wicked, best group, best couple, most original, and best overall. Cards and board games will be available for your entertainment.
Got it?
Okay.
Big prizes, right?
I know, big prizes. You gotta show up to find out, though, that's all I'm gonna tell ya.